Hello everyone. Very good morning to all of you. How are you guys feeling? Can I have thumbs up if all of you are feeling great? Excited to learn about how to become an Amazon seller? Yes. A resounding yes, please.
Yes.
Nice. I hope all of you are energetic and ready to go. We have an exciting agenda lined up for you today. Thank you so much for your patience once again. I'll begin. I'm your host, Gwen. I'm a marketing specialist from Amazon Global Selling. Great to meet you here. And with me, I have an amazing team of Amazon experts. Singwei, Tristan, as well as Yvonne. They're all hanging around. So if you have the time later during networking session, please reach out to them. They're amazing people who will help you during your seller journey. And with that, I will begin my presentation. After my sharing, because we will have a lot of speakers today, and after every sharing session, we will try to open the floor to Q&A. We will do our best to cover all the questions that you have for us, but in the event that we don't, fret not, because our service providers or our speakers will be hanging around till almost the end of the day. So please, if you have any other questions, please reach out to them during the networking session. Super excited to also share with all of you that we have our account registration expert here with us today, Yvonne. He's just seated at the side, the gentleman that just waved his hands. So if you please approach him if you intend to register with us today. And if you have any registration related questions, please reach out to Yvonne, and he will be right there with you, guiding you through the registration process. All right. And with that, I'll be introducing Selling on Amazon to you today. And just a notice that all information shared today are all proprietary to Amazon. And before I jump into the thick of things, I'll just like you to take a moment to whip your phones out and then scan the QR code and join our Facebook community if you haven't done so. The moment you join our Facebook community, please flash your phone to me, and then you'll stand to get an Amazon exclusive sticker set from us. I'll just pause on this slide for just a moment. If you're not in our Facebook group, please join it now, because all of our events, if you want to attend similar events like this or more exciting events that we have to come in 2024, please join, because we always announce our events on the community itself. And it's a community with vibrant sellers. So for aspiring sellers like yourself, if you have any questions, if you need any help, a lot of experienced sellers are in this community to help you, so you can ask your questions there, and there are a lot of people that would help you. And as the admin team, as part of the admin team who actually handles the requests or questions, our admin team is also very active in answering sellers' questions. So let me just take a minute for you to join the Facebook group. All right. If you haven't gotten the QR code, you can just reach out to me later on and I'll show it to you. Okay, the biggest question. So why sell on Amazon? So you can reach a widespread customer base across the borders. Amazon has actually over 300 million active customer base and about 200 million plus Prime members. And on top of that, we're actually present in 22 stores worldwide. And this is the exposure that you can get with your brand, for your brand on Amazon. And moving on to some numbers, what it actually means in terms of revenue opportunities for local Philippine sellers like yourself. So actually our research data have shown that revenue from B2C e-commerce exports from Philippine sellers could actually triple in 5 years. And with a CAGR of about approximately 25% year on year, this actually reflects a sizable growth, especially in the export space post-pandemic. And this is largely due to the opening of borders, stabilizing of the domestic space, and the time is now. You should capitalize on this growth and this rapid expansion and invest in cross-border e-commerce capabilities for your business to grow. And the US e-commerce is actually still experiencing strong growth potential. Revenue in e-commerce in the United States actually was forecasted to continuously increase with an incremental $490.4 billion between 2023 to 2027. And there have been a trend of over 10 years in growth for e-commerce revenue, and these figures actually show a strong e-commerce growth potential in the US. And so how exactly can I start selling on Amazon, you might ask? So actually, let me walk you through the whole selling journey. So in phase one, you're actually getting started, you're getting registered with us, you approach our registration expert to get registered with us, and once you finish registering, and all the registration processes, you've been through that, and then you are actually ready to launch your store on Amazon.com, where you begin to list your products and then start enjoying sales. And then you will enter the subsequent stage of brand building, scaling your business, widening your reach, and scaling upwards. And then taking a closer look at the whole seller journey with these detailed breakdown, you'll be able to actually easily track your progress to ensure that you're actually on track with the onboarding process. I will not be delving into the details of it, but if you'd like to understand more about what exactly happens at each stage and would like some tips, you can actually explore our perfect jumpstart launch playbook. I will flash the slides, flash the QR code in the following slides after. Actually, this playbook is a super useful playbook. It actually guides you through every part of the process throughout your selling journey and making sure that at every milestone you're on track to launch successfully on Amazon.com. And becoming a brand owner on Amazon, what it actually means to be a brand owner. So we have to make sure that you're selling original products with your own branding, and selling products that you own a registered US trademark to. And Amazon actually protects brand owners who are registered through the brand registry and access to a full suite of Amazon tools on Seller Central. And for being an Amazon seller, what it means, you may only maintain one Seller Central account at each region unless you have a legitimate business that need to open a second account, and all of your accounts are in good standing. So if any of your accounts happen to be not in good standing, we may deactivate all your selling accounts until all accounts are in good standing. And please do not attempt to influence customer ratings, which actually means that you do not get your family members or your friends to actually help you write customer reviews. And also take note that counterfeit or illegally replicated products are not suited for FBA. And what I mentioned just now regarding the perfect jumpstart launch playbook, this is the QR code to download this playbook. It is a super useful tool with all the milestones noted down, like just now, with the whole seller journey mapped out for you. At every touch point, this playbook is able to give you very detailed advice, tips to bring you through the whole onboarding process. And the next know-how is knowing the costs of selling on Amazon. So I actually just like to introduce these selling plans to you. Allow me to share a bit more about the cost components. Firstly, the selling plan. I highly recommend and cannot stress enough about getting on the professional selling plan. Being on a professional selling plan would mean, one, it gives you greater access to customize your store settings. Two, to actually provide a better shopping experience for your customers. And to top it all off, our team will provide account management support on your first 90 days of onboarding to professional sellers. And secondly, we have referral fees. Amazon charges a percentage of fee on items sold, and the amount varies across different categories, but most referral fees are between 8 to 17%. And next, fulfillment fees. This is only applicable if you choose to ship your products using fulfillment by Amazon, which I will touch about it briefly later. And my colleague Ivan will share more in depth about FBA with all of you during his speaking session later on. And lastly, all other costs. You may incur additional fees depending on the services situation or other optional programs that you opt for. Please note that when you actually register and set up your selling account, you will need to provide a credit card where we will charge you the fees, and a bank account where we will deposit the sales proceeds. Some of the fees like referral and fulfillment fees are automatically deducted from the sales proceeds. But I would like to take this opportunity to announce to all of you a very good news that actually now we accept debit cards, and just ensure that your debit cards are activated for international transactions. The moment it is, you can upload your debit cards to register for an account with us as well. For more information, you can scan this QR code or you can ask our registration expert, Ivan, who will help you. And I would like to take this opportunity to also mention that we are actually offering a fee waiver. So we're actually launching a 6-month fee waiver on the professional selling plan, which costs about $39.99 USD per month originally, to sellers in Philippines who actually will register with AGS, Amazon Global Selling, with us for the first time. So the moment you complete your registration, as soon as you can, because it's only made available till April. So this means that you'll be only paying USD $1 for the first month and USD $0 for the next 5 months. And if you want to know more about the fee waiver, please, you can scan this QR code on the screen above. And just to let you know and emphasize again, this is only for a limited period of time, so please do register now. I'll just pause for a minute because you guys are actually scanning the QR code to learn more about the fee waiver. All right, moving on. Knowing what to sell is very important as well. Some of us, we have a product, some of us do not have a product, so I'm going to touch on what are certain things that you can sell on Amazon. So what can you sell? We have a capability for sellers to actually list a variety of categories on Amazon, but not all categories are open to all sellers. Some will require a professional selling account, and some will require additional approval to sell. And this brings me back to my point of the importance of being on a professional selling plan. And it's very important for us to understand these policies and what the restricted product categories are, as Amazon require for you to submit documentations or approvals before you start selling. And you can find out more information on our website on your selling account once you register with us. And yeah, as I said, all of us here are at different stages of your selling journey. Some of us have products in mind, some of us do not have products in mind. But you know, actions taken at each stage might differ, but the tools that you use can actually be the same. So the Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer tool is actually a very useful tool that you can use to actually give you a lot of customer insights and data points that would help you gain like product knowledge and to know how to do product research. And it's an internal tool, and it is free for all sellers under the professional selling plan. And also some external tools that I'd like to introduce to you is also Helium 10 and Jungle Scout. Some of our sellers also use these external tools to actually help them gain product insights. And for Product Opportunity Explorer tool, it is a very useful tool like what I mentioned, and my colleague Singwei later, he will be going in depth with all of you about how to actually use this tool to your advantage. And he will be doing a live demo with all of you, so to show you how exactly it works. Because some of us, you know, when we listen, you know, it's just slideshows, but then with a live demonstration, it will be able to give you like an in-depth insight into how exactly the Product Opportunity Explorer tool is used, and then how you can use it for your own business. Yep, as what I mentioned, so this whole Product Opportunity Explorer tool is to help you understand customer search and purchasing behavior to evaluate if there is an unmet demand. So what do I mean by unmet demand? So when you know you have products that there's a need for it, but then it's not offered, then sometimes sellers would feel that, okay, hey, this is an opportunity for me and I have to leverage it. And these data from customers' purchasing behavior and customer search will actually give you that insight and additional help that that there's an unmet demand, and then you can better serve your customers in that space. And another know-how that's very important is fulfillment. So let me just share briefly about fulfillment on Amazon. So there are two ways of how you can fulfill your orders with Amazon. So first is fulfillment by merchant, which means that you are fulfilling the orders by yourself. As you can see for the table, as a seller, if you decide to fulfill the orders by yourself, you will need to, one, prepare each order, you're on your own, answer customers' questions in their own local language within 24 hours, and also provide customers with the return address information in the US. Option two is fulfillment by Amazon, and for FBA, Amazon actually processes all the orders, pack it, and deliver it to your customer. And Amazon will actually help you answer all the customers' questions in their local language on your behalf. And lastly, Amazon will also manage the return processes for you. My colleague Ivan would be going through in-depth on fulfillment by Amazon during his speaking session, so do wait up. He will be going in-depth with all of you if you have any questions or if you want to know more about FBA. Last but not least, let's see how others do it. Enough of me talking. I would just like to share with you some experiences from our sellers. Many sellers like yourself started out like yourself and started off small but grew and then enjoyed success on Amazon. Allow me to share some commonly asked questions with you. One of the most commonly asked questions is the US too crowded for new sellers like yourself? And the answer is no. Actually, new emerging brands continue to see success on Amazon.com. And let's take the seller Petite Simone as an example. Launched in 2021, this Singapore brand actually continues to see over 80 to 90% growth in monthly sales in the US, and they actually hit six-figure sales in less than a year. Another example would be Abound Lifestyle, a Singapore homegrown decor brand that hit actually 7-digit sales in their last year. And this is just two amongst many successful seller stories. And bringing it closer to home, our seller ambassador Joseph, who also enjoyed success on Amazon. Joseph is actually the founder of Argan 40, and I cannot emphasize that as an emerging brand and as a startup, Amazon actually played a big role in enabling them to be on the same page and level playing field as the bigger brands. So it is completely possible for small brands and sellers like yourself to achieve success on Amazon. And if you'd like to hear more about stories from Joseph, we actually invited him here with us. Later during our panel, Fireside Chat, we will have Joseph share his story with all of you. And from there, you'll be able to listen to his experience and ask him any questions that you might have. Another question is Amazon only for the big brands? A small independent brand that actually became the #1 lip scrub on Amazon.com is Handmade Heroes. The founder of this brand, Lindsay, actually launched on Amazon.com in 2015, and then in 2016, their vegan, halal-friendly lip scrub actually rose to the top 10 lip scrubs on Amazon.com. And actually, Lindsay actually attributes this fact that Amazon Global Selling actually levels the playing field to relatively unknown brands with good value propositions and good quality like hers to succeed. And this actually drives home the message of the importance of brand building, about importance of building a brand that actually helps customers and caters to the customers and build customer credibility and to drive brand loyalty at the end of the day. And sometimes you ask sellers, what do you like best about being an Amazon global seller? So from being a digital nomad, from working across the globe, to having more time with your family, to actually being your very own boss, these are just some of the very many benefits of being an e-commerce business owner can also enjoy. And last but not least, I would like to use the opportunity to share with everyone that Amazon has many webinars conducted specifically for each topic. And from FBA to brand registry to listings, and they're all conducted for free. simply scan this QR code and navigate to upcoming events to actually find out what's next in the calendar of events for 2024, or we usually update this on a monthly basis so you can see what are the upcoming events in the next 1 month or so on our dedicated PH microsite. You can register for any of the webinars that you're interested in. If you're interested in listings, you're interested in brand registry, you can just sign up for those dedicated sessions. And we have Amazon experts to be there with you to walk you through all the details on a particular program, teach you, and then if you have any questions for them, the Amazon experts will be able to help you. And for example, if you have any questions on ads, if you have any questions on listings specifically, you can just sign up. And once again, it is conducted for free with Amazon experts. So do sign up and do join if you're at that point in time, if you feel that you're just unsure about that topic, and if you like someone to actually help you with it, you can actually join this webinar. And over there, we will also update on our in-person events like this. So, if you want to know of like any other events that are upcoming and in-person in Manila, you can just sign up from there and keep a lookout on this space. And with that, I've come to the end of my sharing. I hope this sharing gave you a good glimpse into what it means to sell on Amazon and just a brief introduction. And I hope that you will go global with Amazon. I know that I've shared many links with you, many QR codes with you, but fret not if you did not manage to catch it. Don't worry. You can approach any of us, or you can approach myself, and I can provide those QR codes to you, those relevant links to you. And if, in the event that you still do not catch me or something like that, no, fret not. We will reach out to you post-event, or you can monitor our space on Facebook community, join our Facebook community, because we will always have the links there to help you. And we will always announce our upcoming events in this website space and also on Facebook, so do join us. Just want to repeat again, if you join us, the Facebook community, today you will stand to receive a sticker set exclusively by Amazon for you. And just show me your phone, your member request, and I'll just give it to you. All right, and with that, I would just like to invite the next speaker. We have invited One Export. Sorry, my apologies. We have invited, I would like to invite my colleague Ivan, who's going to share more about FBA with all of you. Ivan, please.
All right, so, Gwen went through what FBA is. I was going to ask a question on how many people know what actually FBA is or what it stands for. So I'm going to ask again, but in a different way. So, before this event, who knew what FBA was? Please raise your hands. Okay, so not many of you, so this presentation actually makes sense, right? So, again, I'm going to go through a couple of basics, a couple of more in-depth slides in order to get you all up to speed on what FBA is, what it can offer, and actually how to adopt it. But even before we start, I want to just re-emphasize a couple of things, and it's more of a seller anecdote that I had when we were in the 2023 Seller Summit in Singapore. And I had a lot of sellers come to me and ask one specific question, and they were like, Ivan, if you could pinpoint one thing that I should do in my Amazon store or Amazon journey, what would it be? And my go-to answer was one, FBA. And the reason being is US customers have a different consumer behavior. They don't really look at convenience. They don't look at those like 1 or 2 cents difference from different product listings. They look at speed. They want their products, once they deliver, they want it in the same day, the next day, or in maximum 2 days. And that's exactly what FBA can do for you. So if you look and have your listing, and your listing promises a 15-day delivery time, there is very high chance that the customer might choose another listing that can deliver the same or a similar product in 1 or 2 days, because they want it now. So do stop me if you have any questions. I'll try and leave some time for Q&A after, but yeah, stop me. So this is me, yeah. I'm Sales Operations Manager at Amazon Global Selling. As well as what Gwen said, so the information in this slide is proprietary to Amazon, so if you do take pictures, please do so, but do not share them. The agenda I'm going to go through today is essentially fulfilling your Amazon orders, the different types of fulfillment, what Gwen will say essentially through MFN or FBA. Then I'm going to go in a bit more into the introduction and a bit more into the details of FBA, such as the different storage and fulfillment fees and what to expect when you start onboarding your products into FBA. And then some commonly FBA common questions. Right, so these are just common questions. At the end, if you do have any other questions, I'll try and leave 5 minutes for specific audience questions. So please speak up, because I prefer it to be a two-way communication rather than me just standing here and just having a monologue to all of you guys. So what is FBA, right? So FBA for me, I see it more as the outsourcing partner that takes care of your deliveries in the United States or in the local country of your marketplace, right? So with that being said, the seller still has to do what we call the first leg and mid leg delivery. So essentially from where you're shipping your customers, either being it from the Philippines, being it from China, being it from any other country, either you or the manufacturer you're buying still has to export those goods and bring them into the United States, into one of our fulfillment centers. Right, so the first leg and the mid leg delivery is still owned by the brand owner or the seller itself. Right, but once we go into the United States and your products are in one of our Amazon fulfillment centers, you can switch off and forget about it. We are going to take care of the rest. At 2 a.m. local time, an order comes in. Don't worry, we're going to take care of it. Customer question comes in at 3 a.m. Philippines time, 2 p.m. US time. Do not worry, we will take care of that. A return order comes, again, do not worry, we are going to take care of that. And this makes a lot of sense, especially when we're speaking about Amazon Global Selling, right? So you're in another time zone. You might not have somebody who takes care of customer service in that time zone, right? So that's the real value add that we can give to all of the sellers in another time zone, another part of the world. Outsource those products and outsource all those services to us, Amazon, and we're going to take care of it. So what are some of the advantages that you can have in FBA, right? So first of all, you're going to save in terms of logistics costs, because you're going to be shipping in bulk to one of our fulfillment centers instead of shipping order by order, right? So if you want to ship, for example, one of these pens, you're selling these pens, you want to ship these pens over to the United States from the Philippines, and you need to promise a 2-day delivery because otherwise the customers might not buy that product. You're going to need to do DHL express shipment or like one export express shipment, air shipment to the United States, and that's going to cost you a lot. If instead you bulk ship these pens into a box by sea shipment, you plan your inventory, etc., the cost per pen, the cost of shipment per pen is actually going to decrease a lot. So you actually save a lot by shipping in bulk in terms of inbounding. Second of all, you immediately reach out to all our Prime members. And when we're sharing a couple of numbers, 200 million, we immediately open up to all that customer base. So even the cost of customer acquisition for you guys is going to decrease a lot. Second of all, once you enroll your product into FBA, all the customers who have Prime, that product is eligible for Prime badge. As soon as you go on Amazon and you see like Prime delivery, etc., if you are enrolled into FBA, your product is going to be able to deliver at those speeds. Second of all, again, we can deliver, and I'm going to have another slide next to it, but just showing the notorious speed that we can deliver. We can deliver in as fast as same-day delivery. You buy in the morning, you receive at night. Not many e-commerce solutions out there can provide that same speed. And in some cases, if you're in a bit more remote areas of the United States, yes, we can take up to 2 days delivery time. Again, 24/7 customer support in local language. So imagine, say, you start in the United States Fine, you might speak English and you can provide that support in English. What if you go to French-speaking Canada? What if you go to Mexico, right? So again, Amazon not only provides 24/7 customer support, but it provides it in local language, right? So that's another very big value add that we can provide. And again, all the customer returns and exchanges that might happen on some of your products. So at Amazon, we're all about statistics. We love numbers, right? But we also want to show numbers that actually make sense to our sellers, right? So these are three metrics that, in my case, showcase the broad and the vast network that Amazon has. So in terms of last mile delivery, right? We have two numbers here. First of all, 30% less. We are 30% less than any standard option that there is out there for last mile delivery. And on top of that, we're 70% cheaper on average to any premium shipping options that there are out there. So even if you want to do MFN in the United States, you are going to see that your last mile delivery for item is still going to be more expensive for your last mile compared to Amazon, if you want to maintain the same speeds that Amazon can deliver. Second one, and this is the speed. So more than 50% Prime members receive their orders within the same day or the next day. Again, speed is key in the United States. Consumer behaviors want speed. You can't offer speed, that's going to be a problem. And then that's just showing the vast network that we had. This slide was shared in October 2023, right? So we still need to receive the updated number, but back in October 2023, at that point in time, we had delivered 1.8 billion packages, right? And that's 4 times more what we delivered in 2019 at that time of the year, right? So we're speaking billion, guys, not millions. So we love to showcase our sellers and their success, right? We have Joseph here. He's going to have the opportunity to speak after. His journey, in my opinion, has been amazing. But here are some others. So for example, you saw before in the video, Petit Simon, Steph Tam, right? So FBA for him was one of the crucial aspects of how to like ramp up its business. And that's essentially because he essentially could use that Prime badge, right? And even if their daily sales 5 times during peak periods, we in Amazon took care of that during FBA. Jane and Ivan, no, he's not my brother, right? But he is one of our seller ambassadors from Kia Babies. They also were able, and this is very important, right? So his pitch of FBA is, look, I'm a brand owner. I want to focus on my brand. I want to focus on developing products. I don't have time to look at all the operations and all that single orders and customer requests, etc. So he outsourced all of those operations, all that nitty-gritty single order that you need to manage on a daily basis, and he focused on his brand. He introduced new products. He listened to their customer reviews, tweaked their products, changed their products again, and then launched them, right? So focus on your brand, leave the operations to us. And then the Naoki Matcha brothers, again, amazing story. They essentially said, we don't care if we receive 10 or 10,000 orders a month or a day, right? Again, they focus on their brands, we take care. And that's just to show the scale of what we can take care. From 10 to 10,000 orders a day, that can be done thanks to FBA. So you guys might be asking, yes, Ivan, thank you very much. This is really good, but what are the costs of FBA, right? So these are different sets of buckets, but so you have from inventory storage fees, fulfillment fees, removal order fees, and then a bit more ad hoc costs such as returns, so if you receive a returns, unplanned services fees, so if you send an FBA product to the warehouse and it's not ready for FBA warehousing, then we will charge you a fee. But that's why we're here, right? We're here to let you know how exactly to prepare your products in order to avoid all these costs. And there's a ton of guides, there's a ton of account managers that can help you all on that. And then long-term storage fees. We're not a warehouse that you guys need to maintain storage for like 2-3 years. See us more as a pit stop into the United States. Ship your products in, keep them there for a couple of months, and once you receive the orders, ship them out. So this, for me, is the most important thing, or at least one of the most important things. So I'm going to stop here, and I want every one of you to scan this. And the reason why I'm saying this is a very, very, very good tool in order to see all those costs that I've spoken about, right? So this is an online tool that we have, and it's the FBA revenue calculator, right? So how it works is you're going to put your identifier in, an ASIN, competitive product, some products that might be out there that you might be looking to sell, and you put it in there. And this is going to fetch immediately the item price, what the referral fee is, what the variable closing fee is, your monthly storage costs, and everything. So here you can see immediately a P&L breakdown of the product that you want to sell or the product that you intend to sell in the future. Right, so again, we want to provide full visibility of the costs of FBA, not only because we believe it provides a lot of value, but because we believe that it's in the best interest of the seller to know exactly how FBA is going to cost and affect your P&L in terms of profit and loss and any financial planning, cash flow that you guys might have. Okay. Again, not every product is suitable for FBA. Very important. Fresh products, you're not going to be sending lettuces into our FBA centers. Fresh products are not accepted. Alcohol, not accepted. Counterfeit and illegally replicated goods, I'm going to stop here. They're not accepted in FBA, but they're not accepted in MFN. And we're serious about that. We do not want counterfeit or illegally replicated goods in any listing of our platforms. And if that happens, most likely your account is going to get deactivated, and even account managers from internal Amazon are not going to be able to do anything about that. Right? So we're really serious, and we take this really seriously because we pride ourselves in being one of the most secure platforms out there in terms of genuine products. So how to prepare your products for FBA? Okay, Ivan, you've spoken about fees, you've spoken about how great FBA is, but let us know a bit about the nitty-gritties and how to prepare your product. This is a jumpstart guide. It not only goes through what you have to do in FBA, but it also goes through brand registry, how to start your store in 90 days. Right, but first of all, what you're going to do in order to start your FBA journey, create a product listings and get any approvals if you're trying to list a product that is already out there. You're going to have to print and paste the labels FNSKU that we will provide to you once you create your listing. So you create your listing and all of a sudden you're going to see like labels. And these are the labels that you're going to have to print and stick on your individual products. And these are barcodes that we need in order to identify your products once they come into our fulfillment centers. Once you have that, your listing, your products, and your barcodes already printed, you create a shipment plan. Right? Creating a shipment plan through Seller Central, it's a very easy step, it's a 4-step process, and there's where you're going to tell where you're shipping from, how many units you're shipping from, the size and dimensions, etc. Right? Once you've done that, we're going to give you other labels, which are the shipment labels. So you've packed your products, you have your couple of boxes, we're going to give you some labels you need to stick on those boxes that you're going to ship over. That's again for our fulfillment center associates. Once they receive a package, they scan, oh, this is a seller from the Philippines, they've sent this product, we know exactly what it is and what units are in there. You're going to have to, of course, contact your logistics service provider. Thank you, OneExport, for being there. You're really great. Right, so if you need any assistance on what logistics service provider can provide your shipments from the Philippines over to the US, OneExport is there and they can help you on board. Right, and then send your shipment and track your shipment to make sure that it arrives in the Amazon fulfillment center. So type of barcodes that you have the manufacturing barcode on the left, right, and this is something that you can acquire through GS1. right? But sometimes you guys might say, hey, I don't have these barcodes. Do I really need these barcodes? Well, we have a program which is called GTIN exemption. Some products, we allow them to be shipped to our Amazon fulfillment center without a manufacturing barcode. But you need to enroll into this GTIN exemption program. Just call it GTIN exemption in the search bar in Amazon Seller Central. Just put GTIN exemption and you're going to know how to apply for this exemption, right? Again, if your products are sent to the FBA fulfillment network, we highly recommend to use the Amazon barcode, right? And this is a barcode for us to identify exactly the product that you're sending over. Those were the product barcodes. Now comes the box barcodes. This is what you're going to get once you create your FBA shipment plan, right? So inside here there might be 10, 20, 100, 1,000 products. But this is your shipment box, right? So you might have your courier label, and then you also have your Amazon box ID label. This is for us, again, to know how many products are inside that box. Do they need to go in this fulfillment center, or once we receive it in our fulfillment center, we need to redistribute it to another fulfillment center in order to it to be closer to the potential customers that you can have, right? So again, these are the two labels, these are some examples. I believe these slides are going to be shared with you, right, Gwen? No? The recording is going to be online though, so you can then go back and see if you want to like check these pictures out. Again, QR code. If you're confused a bit about the labels, scan it over there. I think it's going to be useful. So say you have an MFN listing, or you have a listing. What are the details and steps that I need to take in order to convert that listing into an FBA listing? So you're going to go into your inventory tab, manage your inventory, and you're going to see here your listing. You're going to see it as active, you're going to see it as potentially an MFN listing, and you say, hey, I want to convert that to FBA because I want to reach my customers in 2 days or less, right? So you would go on the edit tab and then press on change to fulfilled by Amazon. And that listing is then going to be available in your shipment flow to be selected and then ship it over to the United States. So say you are a brand owner and you're introducing a product into Amazon that is currently not being sold on Amazon. That's what we call new selection, right? There's specific advantages for these kind of products because that adds an added selection to our customers. So we believe that that should be an advantage to them, right? So the FBA New Selection Program, there are specific benefits such as free monthly storage, right, for a limited time, free removal in case some of the products arrive broken or everything, we can also remove that for free. Returns processing, also free. And then free liquidation and some rebates on new selection. Right, so these are specific programs that are available for, again, new selections and for a limited time only. So whenever you add your products over to Amazon, just make sure that you are enrolled into the new selection program. I have a couple more minutes, I believe, so I'm going to jump to the common questions. So, first question. Is there an Amazon fulfillment center in the Philippines that I can ship my products to here? No. If you want to sell in the United States, you have to send your products to the United States. Remember the first slide that I sent, that the first mile delivery and mid-mile delivery is still on the seller? You're going to have to ship your products from wherever you're manufacturing them or wherever you have them stored, either be it the Philippines, China, Indonesia, the United States, right? And ship them to one of our fulfillment centers in the United States. Whenever you create the shipment in the shipment plan, we're going to let you know exactly where to ship it, right? So don't worry. Which Amazon fulfillment center in the United States do I ship my inventory to? I answered my question just now, right? But essentially, once you create your shipment plan, we're going to let you know exactly where to ship, the full address, and that's where you're going to have to communicate to your logistics service provider. Please pick up the goods from here, send them there. What information do I need to prepare for my FBA shipment plan? So again, ship from address, right? Where are you shipping from? The amount of casings that you have, is it individually packed? Is it bulk packed? The amount of quantity of units that you have and the size and dimensions of it. If your product needs prep and labeling. So say you have a product, you have all these pens and you ship them directly into our fulfillment center, right? But then you need these pens to be like individually packed in order to be sent over to the individual customer. You can apply for what we call prep services in our fulfillment centers, and us, for a small fee, we're going to help you remove all these pens from your boxes and individually pack them and prep them for them to be sent over to the final customer. You can also opt to do that by yourself, right, in order to avoid the cost. But if you have other plans and want to base yourself in like growing your brand, etc., then we can do also that for you. And of course, the date of pickup from the logistics service provider, because then we more or less estimate when that shipment is going to be arriving in our fulfillment centers in order to do a bit of capacity planning, supply and demand. Can I get Amazon to label my products on my behalf? I'm figuring out that I'm answering the questions in the previous question, and then when I come to the question I've already answered, but let me again re-emphasize. The answer is like, yes, you can. So FBA prep services, as I said, it does involve an extra cost. This extra cost will be stated in your shipment plan, how much it costs to like apply for these services on a per unit basis, right? And you also have to see if your product is eligible. So once you create your shipment plan, if we identify your product as being eligible for prep services, you're going to see the question, do you need prep services, yes or no? And if you click yes, then we're going to give you like the breakdown of what we can do on that product. When does my inventory become active? So imagine you send a product, you still see your listing there with your shipment in transit to the United States. You're going to see that listing as inactive. You guys might be asking, why? I already have the listing, it's all approved, the inventory is on the way, why is it inactive? And the reason being is if it's active, customers can buy it, right? So it's still inactive because the inventory still hasn't arrived to your fulfillment center. And once the inventory is in our fulfillment center, that listing is going to become active, customers are going to be able to buy in it, and we can deliver in those same day or 2-day delivery speeds. I'm going to stop here, step-by-step demonstration of the FBA revenue calculator. I think you had it there, but this is a guide on how to do it, in case you want to scan it over there. And last but not least, these are a couple of QR codes. FBA shipment guide, our Amazon Philippines community in Facebook group, and a site that we have specifically for Filipino sellers in order to get some resources that are useful for everyone. I'm not sure how I am on time. I think I did it in like 25 minutes, so I'm 5 minutes past, but I would really want to like open up if you have any questions. Any questions, anybody? Okay, we have one over there. I saw you. Yeah, Mike? It's fine.
Hi. So you mentioned that fast delivery is very, very important. So since the US is so big, is it automatic that our inventory gets split across regions where it's needed? And then number two, how much inventory do we need to have to support that fast delivery?
Very good question. You're thinking like already 5 months in advance, but I like that. Right, so question number one, how do we know where to ship it? So we are going to provide one fulfillment center probably, or a couple of them if your shipment is very big, to ship them. Then once we have the inventory in one of our fulfillment centers, our algorithm starts running. Algorithm starts running and then sees, okay, this product is probably going to be sold in the East Coast, but you sent it into the West Coast. That's another thing on FBA. We're going to take care of that. We're going to ship your products internally over to the United States East Coast, and then once your products get sold to one of the potential customers there, then we ship it. Right? So, long story short, we're going to take care of the redistribution of the inventory within the United States in order to make sure that it arrives in one of those like same-day or 2-day delivery speeds. Your second question was how much inventory to send. The straight answer is, unfortunately, it depends, right? So one of the things that our account managers usually provide is, imagine you're sending a new product onto Amazon. Please do not send 4,000 units, right? Test and reiterate, right? So test out for maybe 10, 15, 50 units, depending on the price and depending on the investment that you guys can like support. Test it out, see the sales traction velocity, and then re-inbound, right? So if you see that you've inbounded 50 units and in the first day of selling that Amazon product, you sell 10 units, that already gives you an impression of like, okay, 10 units a day, that I need to like plan this amount of inventory for the next month, ship in order to support that inventory. Right, so unfortunately the answer is not simple, but what we do provide is do not start big, start small, test the platform, test the product, see how it goes, and once you know how it goes, re-inbound and make sure to have enough inventory to support those like peak periods that you might have. Questions? I'm also going to be available after, by the way. Yeah? So I think a couple more.
The last one?
Last one.
Can we choose the nearest warehouse wherein it is cheapest for us to ship from the Philippines to the US?
Unfortunately not, right? But we do tend to accommodate a lot in terms of where you're shipping from. So usually what happens is a lot of sellers who ship from Asia, there's a very, very, very high chance that the fulfillment center is going to be on the West Coast. And if it's not on the West Coast, it's going to be in the Midwest, right? But unfortunately, no, because sometimes we also immediately detect like, oh, that product is definitely going to be sold into the Midwest area. So we immediately ask the seller to inbound there, right, in order to make that product available to the customers even faster, because otherwise you have to ship it to the West Coast, then we have to redistribute it, etc. Right? So we want to bring that product to the customers as fast as possible in order for you also to like start gaining those sales as fast as possible. But with that being said, we try to accommodate the ship from address. So we usually see that a lot of the sellers that ship from Asian countries, they do get those like West Coast fulfillment centers. Okay, that was the last question. I'm sorry, but I'm still going to be available over there. If you have registration, FBA, or any other questions that you might have, I'm available until 8 p.m. today, but even if you can leave earlier, but I'm going to be there. Okay? All right, thank you very much. The next speaker is One Export. So you might be asking how to ship there. He's the guy.
Okay, so good morning everybody. Thank you again for coming here. I'll try to make this talk of mine a bit quicker, just so that you know I'm the one who's standing between you and lunch. So just so that everybody's stomachs are less empty, I'll just try to briefly go through this. So shipping, in terms of sending from the Philippines to the United States, can be quite complicated. There are a lot of principles that we need to follow, but generally those principles are usually constant. So in terms of shipping, you have, I'll be discussing the options of how you can send it from here to the US. So you have two options, air courier and forwarding. So forwarding, this could be sent via sea or via air. So this is your bulk shipments. For air courier, these are your small shipments, these are your parcels. If you think of FedEx, if you think of DHL, if you think of UPS, for our local couriers, that's LBC, that's really the air courier. So what's important to understand here is that the air courier service is for low volume and low value items. In terms of volume, this is me speaking in comparison to just for forwarding. If it's less than 1 cubic meter, so that's 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter in volume, that's when we would say that it's still low volume. If it's low value, for the United States, they have this term called de minimis, which is around $800. So can I get a raise of hands who has purchased anything from abroad, imported, bought something from Amazon or anywhere else? Okay, so there's a few. If you know, here in the Philippines, they say that your item will not be taxed if it's less than 10,000 pesos. So that is our de minimis. The US naman, their de minimis is $800, so it's much more than that. So we recommend sending it via air courier if it's still low value, if it's still less than $800, because it has a less chance of being taxed. For forwarding, it's the opposite, high volume and high value. So when it gets to 1 cubic meter, again, depending on your item and depending on the volume, that's where it becomes a gray area. So if it's that amount, if it's that volume in size, we want to consider sending via forwarding, but there's still instances where sending via air courier and just sending your shipment in batches, it's still much cheaper. Again, what I mentioned, you can send via air, you can send via sea, you can send a full container, you can send around 1 cubic meter, 2 cubic meters, 3 up to around 10. That's considered the less than container load. So the first thing that I would be tackling in terms of our service, it's called Ship It Express. This is our air courier service. So generally when you are sending via air courier, there are less documents needed as compared to forwarding. So because these items are considered as personal, these items are considered as samples. What we ensure is that we check your items before sending if they are allowed in the destination country. So whether you are sending to the US, whether you're sending to Australia, Canada, we check if there are any restrictions. What happens now is if it's just the regular express shipment, not yet considering Amazon, duties and taxes, if ever, are paid by the consignee or the recipient. It's difficult for us to charge the duties and taxes right away because that's something that's computed once the item is in the scope of the customs of the destination country. So even if it's still here in the Philippines or if it's still in transit to the US or Canada, sometimes the customs officer can compute for the duties and taxes right away, but it's only when it's within their scope. So that's not something that we can technically do. What's important here is that when you are sending abroad, one requirement to send it out from the Philippines is that the item needs to have if it's food or cosmetics, it would need to have an FDA certificate. This is to ensure that the item does not, in a sense, contaminate wherever it's going. At least if it has an FDA certificate, it's safe to send out as compared to something that's homemade. So we have clients who want to send out dried tuyo. Sometimes they do their let's say they make their own preserved squid or let's say dried fruits. That's not something that we can send, and that's not something that we would recommend that you send. What happens now is, let's say if customs sees that they do a random inspection, they won't send it back. They will just discard the package and throw it away. One thing also to take note on the express shipment, since Ivan tackled it a while ago, if you decide to send anything that's counterfeit or illegal, same thing will happen. It won't be sent back, it will be destroyed. So it's just something for all of you to just be aware of. So in terms of how express shipments are priced or how air courier shipments are priced, there's a term that we call chargeable weight. One thing to take note is when you see a promo, whether it's DHL, UPS, FedEx, or even here locally, when they say 25 kilos to the US, 25 kilos to Australia, especially if it's an international shipment, it's not based on only the weight, it's also based on the dimensions of the box. That's the concept of chargeable weight. So you compare the weight of the box or the weight of the package to the dimensions of the package. The price is based on whichever is higher. So Just an example, if you have these dimensions, multiplied with one another, so 33.7 times 32.2 times 18 divided by 5,000, you'd probably come up with around 3.8, 3.7, something like that. That gets rounded up automatically to 4 kilos. So based on the dimensions of the box, it has a minimum charge of 4 kilos. If the contents weigh 20 kilograms, then you'll be charged for the 20 kilograms. The next example I have is for a large box, but it's very light. So example are pillows. And then I always use these examples in the previous talks. Parol. So Christmas was 2 months ago, it's Feb 1 now. So Christmas was 2 months ago. We had a lot of shipments of parols going to the United States that were always sent via air. It would always be priced based on the dimensions of the box because you are paying for the space in the aircraft. So in this example, even if it's 5 kilos the actual weight, you will be charged for, sorry, that's just a typo. You'll be charged for 20.5 kilograms in the box rather than the weight. So the box determines the minimum weight that you'll be paying for and the minimum price that you'll be spending. Once you go over that weight, then it will just be based now on the actual weight of the box. So for forwarding, these are again for your volume, your large shipments, and your sort of high value shipments. So again, we want you to consider if you are sending around 1 cubic meter in terms of volume. One thing to take note, we around last year, sort of mid last year, we catered to an Amazon seller. So he had to send around 12 boxes, and these were very large boxes. He had to send it to the United States. He wanted to quote it via sea. I told him that it's better if he send it via air because even if he was sending around 12 boxes, he was sending it to 4 different locations. So you're also considering where the items are going to, because what will happen is if we send all of those items to one area in the United States, and we still handle the domestic delivery inside the United States, the cost of that is very high as well. So you have to make sure that if you do want to consider forwarding or sending in bulk, it has to be going to the same destination. So as what I mentioned earlier, when you send it via forwarding, it could be sent via air and via sea. You can do less than container load or full container load. We also have these other services, stickering and consolidation here in the Philippines. So Amazon has that service, but we also have that service as well. But of course, that's extra cost on your side. We can assist with the stickering, placing the barcodes. We would just need the instructions on your end. One thing that we can also offer here, if you really have the capacity to do that, one thing that we do for our clients here is that we consolidate their items in our warehouse. So let's say you're sending a full container worth of items, and I don't know if any of you have the space to keep all of those items in your warehouse, in your house, or wherever you're working from. We have a warehouse that can receive all of the items, put them all together before we load it into the container. So that's just an additional service once you get to that level of selling. One thing to take note of is when you send via sea and via air, is that these are automatically considered as commercial shipments. So much different from the express shipment or the courier service is that here you need more documents. Local export license, an import license in the US or the destination country. Make sure that you also have to make sure that whatever items you bring or whatever items you are sending are compliant in the US. And other supporting documents depending on the item. So for me, the easiest way to understand this is if you're just a traveler traveling to the US. Before you exit the Philippines, you need your passport. Before you enter the US, you need your visa. So your export license here is your passport. The import license is your visa. Without those two, you cannot send via sea or via air in bulk to the US. So now, this is considering sending to Amazon. What's different now when you send to Amazon? So we have two, we have air courier and we have forwarding. When you send to Amazon, they kind of combine. Because when you send to Amazon, they're automatically considered as a commercial shipment. Obviously, if the destination, if the address in your waybill or wherever it's going to is to Amazon, it will be sold. So if a customs officer sees it, it will be, they're going to think, oh, it's for commercial, it's not personal, it's not a sample. Again, similar to forwarding, your item needs to be compliant within the United States, so it would need to have the FDA locally and in the US. For non-food items, there are further documentations depending on your item, so declarations, such as, let's say, for wooden products, but generally, it's less documents as compared to, let's say, food, cosmetic, drug, and cleaning items. And what happens now is that an important record is needed. So this is your visa, your import license to the US. Amazon is not the owner of the goods. So they cannot be the importer on record. They are just a holding company. It's a transit point. It will go to the warehouse, but the one who buys the goods is the actual owner. And of course, customs cannot track that. So when they ask, who is the importer on record, you won't have anybody to point out to. But now, in terms of shipping, that's part of our service. So we can assist with documentation and compliance assistance. So we can check if your items can be sent to the US, if there are any restrictions. We're basically a one-stop shop in getting your items ready for selling on the US. We also have an import license. So what happens now is whether you are sending via air courier or if you get to the large bulk of sending via bulk shipping, or let's say sending via sea or via air, we can serve as the importer on record. You don't need to worry about that anymore. And of course, bulk shipping. So in terms of sending abroad, because bulk shipping would need all of these licenses, we also have an export license here in the Philippines. So in terms of the licensing and the requirements for the logistics part, we cover that side for you. General items not allowed. These are either just illegal or very difficult to send. You can take a picture for a while, but a lot of these are found naman in our website, shipit.ph. And of course, we have a promo naman today. As what Ivan mentioned earlier is that when you think of what you are sending, when you want to sort of start on Amazon, you have to test it out first. So you're thinking, how is it easier for you guys to test out any shipment? So later on, we'll be opening you can approach us in the booth, we'll have a sign-up sheet. So as long as you send your items to Amazon by April 15 this year, so if you just want to test it out, we will give around $250 worth free in terms of shipping. So that's enough for maybe like a few boxes if you want to send it out. So that at least the logistics cost on your side, if you want to test out your items, it's not something that you have to worry about. So that at least we want to encourage all of you to start sending, to start building your business, to sell on Amazon and sell in the United States. This is maybe one less headache to think of when you're starting. We can also assist you eventually later on. Let's say if your products are doing well, we can also, start now. If they are doing well, we can sort of give you the price. If you are sending just maybe one box, if you are sending 1 cubic meter, if you are sending a full container, so that you know the logistics price which you have to input into your product, so that you can at least project your products much better later on. So again, feel free to approach us later. You can just maybe take a picture, scan the QR code now. We'll just be right there in the back for you to answer any of your questions. And thank you, and again, happy lunch.
All right, round of applause for Jaime. Thank you so much for the insightful presentation. And earlier, I hope Ivan's presentation was as useful as for you as well, because he dived into a lot of FBA details. And now, I would just like to, I know all of us are hungry. It's 12 and it's time for lunch. I'll release you for lunch for now. The lunch, please help yourself. It's a catering. We have food catered for you. Just need you to be back in this room at 1 p.m. With that, I'll leave you to fill your stomachs. This way, please.
So here's like the macro view of what Payoneer does for Amazon. So it enables you to get paid and then to pay or withdraw your funds. So that's basically what we do. But of course, if you look at it into like a smaller perspective or in a micro perspective, it's much more. So once you create the Payoneer account, so this is actually the flow. So once you have your Payoneer account, you get your USD currency account. Like what I mentioned before, some of us, we have trouble actually creating a local bank account. So what more if we go to like create a US bank account, right? I know that it's going to be some of us are having troubles from there pa lang. So of course, this is what Payoneer does. It actually enables you to create different currency accounts, not only USD. We also offer Canadian, Euros, GBP, UAE, so different types of like currencies we already have in our platform. So all you need to do is just create an account in Payoneer, link your local bank account, and then from there, request the needed currency account. So, Carlos, I have a currency account. What do I do next? So you connect it to Amazon, and then from there, we have different ways. So once you get the payment from Amazon, we have different tools like FX management. So let's say you receive funds in USD and you have to pay someone in Singapore. Let's say your supplier is in Singapore. So Carlos, how am I going to pay if I have USD? So easy, we have FX management. So meaning you can use your USD, convert it into SGD, and send it to your supplier in Singapore. So aside from that, we also have different partners here in the Philippines to make it easier for you to withdraw funds. So instead of just like local bank accounts, we also partner with GCash. So GCash is one of our major partners. So if you would like to get your funds instantly, you can withdraw using GCash. How about Carlos? I actually have like I run ads in Facebook, in Google, for them to be attracted to my Amazon store. So how can I use that for ads as well? So actually you can opt in for a MasterCard in Payoneer. It acts as a debit card. So as long as you have like a USD currency account, all of the ad fees that you're going to get from Google, from Facebook, you can just pay through your Payoneer debit card. And then I mentioned like the different currency accounts from before. Here's actually like the different currencies. There are major currencies that we have in support. So just take note, if you want to use Amazon, to connect to Amazon US, you need a US currency account, Amazon Canada, Canadian account. So different currency accounts for different regions. So that's actually how you receive funds. And you can also use Payoneer to pay your suppliers as well as pay VAT. So in terms of like paying VAT and as well as, let's say, of course the goal of having an own company is to grow it and of course have like employees to do most of the legwork for you. So with Payoneer, it actually empowers you to actually send these payments to different regions across the world. Let's say you hired someone from Indonesia, like a marketing manager. You can actually send payments from your Payoneer account to that Indonesian contractor of yours or employee. So you can pay it two ways. One is through a Payoneer account, and another one is directly to their bank account. So it makes it easier for them to really receive funds and makes it easier for you to send funds instead of just sending payments through wire. I know that when sending payments through wire, the banks also ask a lot of documents from you, and it's very daunting. So Payoneer makes it easier for you to do that. And then you can also pay for online advertising, as I've mentioned before. So with that, you get a Payoneer debit card. So we have high acceptance rates, increased spending limits, and of course, multiple digital cards in the same currency or different currencies depending on your demand. So additional tools for Amazon sellers. What I mentioned before, of course, we have a lot of different Amazon stores, right? You won't be contented with just selling through Amazon US. You'd like to try Amazon Canada. So Amazon Europe. So with that, you won't have to create like multiple Payoneer account and then connect them individually. You won't have to do that because we actually have an Amazon store manager. So just one Payoneer account connects to all of these Amazon stores, which makes it easier for you to track finances. And also, it was mentioned before that you also have to pay Amazon advertising and transparency, of course, just to make sure that your product is featured in Amazon's vast array of products. So Payoneer also makes it easier for you to do that. So all you have to do is there's actually a tool there that would actually make you pay an Amazon advertising invoice in Payoneer itself. So technically, Payoneer is like all-in-one e-commerce tool that for your needs. We empower, for your Amazon store, and once you grow big enough, you can actually use Payoneer checkout as a way for you to send money or get money. And then just to see like the registration flow or your timeline, just please take a picture of this one. It'll give you like an easier guide to see how long it takes to create or register through Payoneer. So next slide. So actually that's the end of my presentation. I actually have here a QR code that please register. So if you have like additional questions, we'll be there to send you more information, as well as we also have a Payoneer travel gift set for those lucky people who will be applying to the QR code. So please feel free to apply, reach out to us, and hopefully we can see your company and make it grow. Thank you.
Give me a second. All right, now we move to the next part of next segment. We have Helium 10, the chief evangelist from Helium 10, Bradley Sutton, with us. He will be presenting virtually with us on 5 under the radar strategies to help in 2024.
It's great to be here virtually with you guys now. Wish I could have been there in person, recording just the day before the event. So this is fresh information. This is not some old recording that I'm just recycling for you guys. But I wasn't able to make it this time because I've just been traveling too much lately. Just got back from Germany, was just in Pakistan and Dubai. Really wanted to go there for this first big event from Amazon doon sa Pilipinas, but couldn't do it. For those who don't know, my mom is from the Philippines, born nearby to where you guys are at right now in Pasay City, and I always try and get back whenever I can. I actually have a big part of my team in the Philippines. So that being said, I heard there's a possibility there might be some meetups somewhere in March in Philippines, and so I'm definitely going to try to come at that time and see you guys. But in the meantime, I really wanted to share with you guys some strategies, at least virtually, since I couldn't get there in person. So that's what I'm going to be going over today. And this presentation is entitled 5 Under the Radar Strategies That Can Help You Win in 2024. All right, so we all want to have good sales this year. These are things that, some of it you don't need Helium 10. A lot of it is just in Amazon, and just using different tools. I'm going to show you how you can use these strategies in order to help you, whether you're an Amazon seller, you're a factory owner, maybe you're a service provider, a consultant, whatever the case may be, hopefully there's something here that you'll be able to use. So the first strategy I wanted to talk about today is finding out which variations sell the best. All right, now this is important because sometimes when you are investigating different products that have variations, like for example, we're looking at here a bunch of like bed quilts and things like that, you can just imagine how many variations there are. There's like different colors, and there's also different sizes, king size, queen size, etc. And if you were just to look at the BSR, the bestseller rank in Amazon, every single child item has the same exact one. Like in this one, everything is going to be 63. And that doesn't mean that every single product is the 63rd bestseller, but what that means is all the products put together are selling this amount. And for those of you who use Helium 10, you'll see the same estimate of sales for each child item. Again, it doesn't mean that every single one is doing like 1,000 units. What it means is that if you add up all the colors, all the sizes, it equals 1,000 units, if that's what the estimate is. Now, one easy way to see which variation sells the best is take a look on each one at this number that Amazon puts here. Like for example, it says 6,000 bought in past month. This doesn't mean how many sales. This means an estimate on the number of customers who actually purchased this exact size. It's like white, and it was queen. And if you click on each of these, as long as it's sold over 50, usually Amazon will have that here. It's not always 100% accurate, but for the most part, it's not going to be off by like thousands. So if this says 6,000 and everything else says 1,000 or less, you can pretty much bank on that this is the top selling one. Now the reason why this is important is, maybe you want to have a new product. You don't want to necessarily invest in 25 different variations all equally because you don't know which one's going to sell the best. Maybe you want to start with just tatlo, like 2 or 3, right? So this way you can see which one is selling the best, which one you can invest in. So that's just one way to do it. There's a couple other cool ways that you can estimate how much variations are. One cool tool is the Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer. All right, this is another way that has nothing to do with Helium 10, just like the last one. It's actually inside of Product Opportunity Explorer, and almost every account has that, even if you don't have brand registry. So what you can do is you can put the ASIN of one of the child items, and usually what happens when you put this in here is a whole bunch of other ASINs that are similar are going to show up. But in this situation, whenever it's a variation, the first ones that it shows are all the ones that are other child items in the same variation. And so sure enough, I put that one in here, and look, that has the most clicks. That's what it shows. It doesn't say the number of sales, but it says who has, or which child item has the most clicks. And you can kind of correlate that. All right, if this one has 1 million clicks and everything else has only 30,000, 100,000, 180,000, well, obviously this one probably also has the most sales. All right, so that's another way that you can estimate the number of sales. A final way is using Helium 10 and Review Insights as part of our Chrome extension. And this might give you another, kind of semi-accurate way. The reason why, let me go back a couple of slides here, but the reason why this one sometimes might not work, the Product Opportunity Explorer, is it gives you 360-day click counts. So this is only good if the product has been in stock, all child items equally, for the last full year. This number will obviously be way off if like this was the only product that was in stock for a year and the rest were only in stock 2 months. Well, maybe this is not the best seller. So if you're ever worried about that, well then Review Insights is a good way, because it's going to take a look at the most recent reviews and then see what the review count is. And if you remember a couple of slides ago, I showed how in Amazon it showed that the White Queen had the most sales, and then in the Product Opportunity Explorer, the White Queen again had the most clicks. Well, same thing. Helium 10 is showing you the same information because it says, hey, that the White Queen had 336 reviews over the last 30 days. which was more than any of the other sizes. And so this is just like a third way, again, to get an estimate on which product is getting the most sales. All right, so this is important when you're doing your product research. You want to know which one has the most sales. All right, let's get into strategy number 2. All right, this is called compare your conversion rate by keyword. Now, this is important because historically, you might know where you rank on a certain keyword page. You might know what your conversion rate overall is, but your conversion rate overall is made up of your conversion rate for a lot of your keywords. So for example, here's one of my products, and it's coffin shelf, right? And so I can actually look at coffin shelf, and I want to see how is my conversion rate for this keyword compared to my competitors. Now this one, I had said before, the Product Opportunity Explorer, you only basically need to have an Amazon account to have access to it. This one, you need brand registry, all right? So if you don't have brand registry, not gonna be able to get this, you need to go get brand registry right away. Once you do have that, now I can see, all right, overall, for coffin shelf, how many people clicked on a product after the search, all right? So it says here there were 3,700 searches, 1,600 people clicked on a product after the search. And of those 1,613, there were 16 people who purchased it, okay? So that means that's what, a conversion rate of 1% or about, right? So that's what the overall conversion rate is. Now here's where the magic happens. If you're in your account, you want to look at the ASIN count of the clicks. That means how many times after somebody searched this keyword did your product get a click? And it was 193 for mine. And now I look at ASIN count for purchases and it's 3. Guess what? My conversion rate is better. Because do you see here? The conversion rate overall for the keyword is only 1%, but mine is a little bit more than 1%. Because look, 200 divided by 3 is definitely more than 1%. So my conversion rate is a little bit better than the overall. That's what you want to take a look at. How am I doing compared to the rest of the market? So what if that number was bad? Like what if my click rate was 193 and my purchase rate was 1? That means that I'm only converting at 0.5%, which is less than half of what the overall conversion rate that everybody else is getting. So this will show you that, hey, you're gonna start dropping in your keyword rank. You don't improve your conversion rate. You gotta figure out, why are people clicking on my product after searching this keyword, but they don't seem to be finding what they want once they actually get on the page. So this is a great way, this is a never before seen way before last year when Amazon released this, where you can actually see how you're doing at the keyword level compared to your competitors. All right, the next thing I want to show you, number 3, is understanding where those impressions come from. We're still talking about search query performance, and let's go back to that coffin shelf example. Here in this particular month for this brand, Coffin Shelf, you can see the number of searches, 3,700 people typed in coffin shelf, all right? Now, my product, ASIN count, had 4,400 impressions. Now think about that for a second. I know I'm not there, I can't ask you to raise your hand and answer, but maybe say it out loud or say it in your head right now. How is it possible that my product showed up more times, more impressions than the number of searches? Like, how is that scientifically possible? Anybody know? Hopefully somebody said it out loud. But the answer is PPC, right? So sure, maybe every single time I show up organically at the top of the page, that, by the way, that's what an impression counts for, is if you're showing up towards the top of page 1. But if my product is gonna show up there, sure, that's one impression, right? But what could happen is I could be running a sponsored ad at the same time and my product also shows up towards the top. Now, you're just guessing at this, right? You're just guessing. Let me show you exactly how you can combine this Amazon data with Helium 10 data to really understand instead of just guessing, all right? So go into Keyword Tracker inside of Helium 10. A lot of you guys are probably using it. And then now I look at the organic ranks and the sponsored ranks. And now it's clear. Now I'm not guessing. Look at this. A lot of the time, I'm right here in the top 5 positions organically. And then for the same keyword in PPC, almost all of the time, I'm right here at the very top. So now all of a sudden, it makes sense. How in the world I was able to get the same or a higher number of impressions than their even worse searches. Most of the time, I was getting 2, or some of the time, I was getting 2 impressions for every 1 search because my product was in the top of the page in organic and in sponsored ads. Now, if you remember, back on that one page, I had a bigger number of impressions here than searches. But look at this one. On this keyword, coffin decor, I actually had less than 1/3 the number of impressions than the number of searches. Even though the searches was almost identical for these 2 keywords, look at the difference in impressions. So again, I can guess at what is going on, right? I can guess, hey, why is this happening? No, don't guess. Let's just take a look at Keyword Tracker and figure out exactly what's going on. Sure enough, here's what is going on. Here is the rank for coffin decor, and you can see for organic, most of the time, am I showing up on the top of page 1? Almost not at all. But look here on the sponsored rank, I am showing up at the top, just maybe like 1/3 of the time. So now going back to that other slide, now it kind of makes sense because I'm combining Amazon data with Helium 10 data, and now I can understand why my impressions are so low. So I can't just like snap my finger and get my impressions up across the board, but which one can I snap my finger and do it? My PPC. I just have to increase my bid, and theoretically, I'm going to start showing up at the top of the page. So this is really important to really get a holistic understanding of what exactly is happening with your sponsored ads and with your organic rank that is driving what you see in the search query performance. All right, let's go to number 4 as far as the strategies go today. And this is using special features if you have trouble indexing. All right, so first of all, what's the difference between indexing and ranking? Indexing is you have the possibility to show up for a keyword. Ranking, that means you actually see yourself in the search results because Amazon only shows like 7 pages, all right? Now, let me show you a product. This is a real product right over here that I actually launched last year as a test. And this is some coffee socks, all right? So basically the socks say, on the bottom of the sock, it says, if you can read this, bring me coffee, all right? If I wanted to launch this on Lazada, doon sa Pilipinas, I might put, if you can read this, bring me lumpia or something like that. Bring me halo halo. But anyways, coffee is one of the main keywords. And I don't know if you can see this, but I actually had coffee in the title right here. And just so you know, I had coffee throughout this listing. Like coffee was all over the listing because I know how to make a listing, guys, right? Now here's the thing. I could not get index at first for this word coffee. Now again, was it because I didn't include it in my listing? No, it was all over my listing. Like, tatlong beses at the very least. It was probably like 5, 6, 7 times. Now, why can this happen? Has that ever happened to you? Have you guys ever had keywords in your listing, launch a new product, and you can't rank for it, and you can't even get PPC impressions for it? Has that ever happened? I'm sure it's happened to a lot of you who have worked on Amazon accounts. Now think about that. I was selling socks. This one, go ahead and yell out, guys. What category is socks in? All right? Somebody said clothing, I'm pretty sure over there, right? Okay, good. Now, what category normally would the keyword coffee be in? What kind of products would it be in? Probably grocery category, right? So what happens sometimes is you can have a very important keyword for your listing, but maybe Amazon does not view it as relevant to that listing. So that's what happened here. Amazon sees this word coffee, and it's like a piece of clothing doesn't need the word coffee, so we're not even going to index. So what can you do if that happens? Well, the first thing you want to do is check, all right, which keyword is the one that is making me not indexed, all right? It's usually not the whole entire keyword, right? So right here, you can see I put all the keywords that I wasn't getting indexed overall, all right? Or all the keywords I wanted to see if I was getting indexed for. And look, coffee gifts for women, coffee gifts for men, coffee socks for men. So you check if you're indexed for your main keywords, and if you see a line, this is index checker, by the way, in Helium 10. If you see a line, that means you are not indexed, all right? So now, the next step is take those phrases that are not indexed and break them up into the individual words. And then you'll find out what is the individual word that is not indexed for. And sure enough, here it is. Coffee wasn't, daughter, son. So now I know, all right, this individual keyword is not allowing me to index for my important phrase. And there's that keyword that I mentioned, coffee. So it's not a matter of, oh, I need to put it in my listing. Of course, if I found out that I didn't have it in my listing, well, that's the answer. Put it in my listing, I will get indexed. So here, what we see though, if we go to the next slide, I'm looking at something that is in a lot of Amazon USA listings, which is the special features. All right, so here in the special features, I'm going to go ahead and put in these keywords that I wasn't indexed for, and like 9 times out of 10, or maybe 19 times out of 20, if I do that, now all of a sudden within like 15 minutes, I am going to go ahead and be indexed for that keyword when I wasn't earlier. So that's a kind of like secret hack, guys. If you find yourself not indexed for a keyword you already have in your listing, hopefully your listing has these special features and you'll go ahead and be able to be indexed. All right, the next strategy, last one of the day, we're going to talk about is analyzing competitor peak sales periods. All right, so this is something that's really good if you are looking at a seasonal product, or maybe you see that a product does really well or really bad in certain times of year. You want to reverse engineer maybe their success from when they're doing really well. Well, when you go to their product page, scroll down to where you see the widget that has the BSR graph. That's from the free Helium 10 Chrome extension. There's other Chrome extensions that do that too. And then, for example, I'm on an Amazon page, and I look at, wow, look at this date right here in July of last year. Had super low BSR. Remember, low BSR means that it had a lot of sales. And look, here's another one like in October. So once you get those exact dates, now go to another tool inside of Amazon, not Helium 10, but inside of Amazon, called Brand Analytics Top Search Terms. Find that exact date and put in the ASIN, all right? So here I saw that, wow, July 14th, this product was doing crazy sales. And by putting in the ASIN and hitting refine results, now I'm going to see every single keyword that this product was one of the top 3 clicked. And so this is really going to give me insights on what keywords was driving their sales. How did they get such good sales during that time? Now, if you remember, there was another peak period down here in like, what is this, November or October. So if I see like this whole month of October, they're just crushing it, right? This whole month of October, you look back in like April, Mayo, Julio right here, not great sales, but then October, they were just crushing. Even November, they stopped selling so much. So what I can do is I can actually go into Helium 10 Cerebro, and then I can look at a 24-month history of all their keyword ranks. So what I would do is, all right, hey, if they were just crushing it in like November or October of a certain year, I'm going to click on that month, and then it is going to go ahead and open up for me all of their keywords that they were ranking on during that time. So this is really kind of like a game-changing feature. A lot of people, have been using a lot for, they've been using that a lot for keyword research for what's happening right now. I think a lot of you in the audience are using Cerebro, right? Now, let's say right now we are in February, right? Cerebro would be great if I'm looking up Valentine's Day products, right? At least in America. I'm not sure if they have Valentine's Day in Philippines, but in America it's in February. When? I don't exactly know, but I know it's in February. Is this the time to really get insight on what is the best Christmas tree ornaments? No. Probably the top Christmas tree ornaments, the listing is closed. Maybe the sellers ran out of stock, or they just like, I'm gonna close this listing because nobody is buying Christmas tree ornaments in February. It's too early. So if you were to try and look at who is the top ones, you wouldn't even see their ASIN. And if you put it in Cerebro, most of it probably would be blank because again, they're not selling Christmas tree ornaments in February. So if I want to launch some Christmas tree ornaments later on this year, how am I gonna know what is the top keywords? Well, using that historical feature will help me. When I'm ready to make my listing, maybe it's gonna be in July or August, I'm gonna go into that historical Cerebro, I'm gonna look in November and December of last year, 2023, and find out, all right, what was the top Christmas tree ornaments? What keywords were they getting sales from? What sponsored ranks were they advertising for? So this is just a really good technique to do historical keyword research to correlate when your competitors are really crushing it, what keywords help them crush it. Maybe you're doing research into a seasonal product, well, what keywords during that season are the best, regardless of when you're searching for. So these are 5 strategies, guys, that I hope can help you. Now, if you are interested in more strategies for free, just like this one was for free, I highly, highly recommend. I want you guys to all support right now. Pull out your phones, guys. Pull out your phones, whether you have Android, whether you've got Apple Podcast, and I want you to open up your podcast app. So open up your iPhone podcast app, or if you have Android, open up Spotify and look up Serious Sellers Podcast. All right? Support your mestizo Huya over here, okay? Serious Sellers Podcast. Hit subscribe on it, guys. Download the first episode right now. Download it. It's gonna help my metrics. Hit download. And then also later, mark these 2 podcasts, all right? Number 342, Joseph. I think he's speaking there. He lives right there in Manila, and he's speaking to you guys possibly today. He has a crazy backstory. Check out his episode, 342. He from Amazon Singapore just did recently a great series about how to use Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer. I showed you guys that a little bit. She went in depth into this tool. That's episode 525. So again, podcast, guys, please take a listen to it. And if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, same thing, Serious Sellers Podcast. Like a matter of fact, take out your camera right now just to prove that I was kind of there. Take out your camera, take a picture of this, and tag me on Instagram, all right? So tag Amazon, tag Serious Sellers Podcast so that I can see that, all right, some people watched my lesson here. Upload that to Instagram. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening in. Sorry again that I couldn't be there in person, but I'm really gonna try to get there in March for the meetup that might be happening. And I try and go to Philippines like at least 2-3 times a year, so it'd be great to network with local Amazon sellers there, and I hope to see you guys soon. See you guys later. Bye-bye. Maraming salamat po.
All right, thank you so much, Bradley. Once again, I have a small exclusive discount to share with all of you. So Bradley actually extended a discount for all Philippine sellers, and you can actually scan this QR code. It's a geo-locked discount for our PH sellers, and now you're currently going to pay $449 for an annual plan that is worth $948. So whip out your phone, scan the QR code, and if you have any questions, you can just leave it. You can ask Bradley using through his various channels that he has and his network. Okay, more or less done. Okay, and next, I would like to invite Registrar Corp to come up to share more about what they do. And Registrar Corp, please.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone. My name is Deva. I'm a US FDA regulatory advisor We specialize in FDA matters. So hope everyone had a good time here. If you're working with products such as food and beverages, medical devices, drugs, especially cosmetics, and if you're planning to export to the US market, FDA compliance is something that you really need to look after. And if you need help to understanding what the compliance is, what do you need to do, you can definitely reach out to us. We will help you register, we will help you understand what kind of compliance documentations that you need to have in order to have a smoother export to the US. My booth is just at the back. Please come and say hi, get my name cards and drop in yours as well. Hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir. As you have heard, he will be situated at the back. Please do visit their booths. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to re-emphasize that our service providers are all here. So during your networking session later, you can just visit their booths at the back and ask your questions, ask away. And now, I know it's been a long day. Just bear with us for just one last bit, and the most important bit. I'd like to invite Ivan back up on stage. He's going to share more about account registration. Ivan, please.
All right, I'll promise I'll be very fast. And by very fast, I mean like 5 to 10 minutes. And the reason being is that I will not go thoroughly through the content here, simply because I'm right there. And if you have any questions or you want to register your account, I'm right here on the spot. So I hope that I can explain myself on live better than the guides, right? So, but with that being said, if you do have any problems with registration, or if you just have to like run off and you don't have time to register with me right there, you can find this guide online in one of our websites, right? When you press sign up, right under you have registration guide. And this is a very thorough guide on how to register your account. The reason why I'm there is because sometimes registering an account can be a bit difficult, right? Or there are some glitches. So that's the whole reason we actually provide registration support. But overall, the process that you're going to have to go through is we're going to be asking you some questions on what type of account you want, either the individual or the professional. Honestly speaking, you shouldn't even be looking at the individual, not because it's a benefit for us, Amazon, but it's also a benefit for you guys. And for that being said, some of the benefits are brand owner tools, only available in the professional plan. Account management services, only available in the $39.99 plan. Product Opportunity Explorer, only available in the $39.99 a month. And on top of that, we're running this promotion of $1 instead of the $39.99 for the next 6 months. So honestly speaking, the way to go is the $39.99 professional plan. So that's the first thing you have to choose. This is the very big overview of what the registration process looks like. So first of all, we're going to ask you a couple of questions like your business location, your business address, then the your seller identity, meaning who are you, what's your name, what identity document you're going to be using, and that kind of information. Once you've completed the first part of the registration, we're then going to go to something called SIV, which stands for Seller Identity Verification. And that's essentially a virtual way to identify that the person registering the account is actually the person who submitted the passport. So we're going to take a couple of pictures of you through the webcam, and the algorithm behind is going to detect that the person in the picture is the same as the person in the passport. Right? And we take this very seriously in Amazon to prevent fraud. Right? So this is a way to protect you as sellers, but it's also a way to protect the customers behind there, because we don't want to have any fraud accounts being launched on Amazon. After that, some accounts, right, through a randomized process, get triggered a postcard OTP. This is a physical postcard that gets sent to your address, and inside this postcard, you're going to have an OTP number. This can take from 1 to 3 weeks, depending on if you're from a very remote location. If you're in Manila, Metro Manila, it should take 1 to 2 weeks. This is completely random, right? It gets triggered 50% of the time. But again, this is again another algorithm for us to prevent any frauds, right, of people or businesses actually putting fake addresses to launch their business. Once that is done, if you get triggered, you're going to be able to access Seller Central. And in Seller Central, we're going to have 2 steps. First step, number 1, is tax questionnaire, right? And the tax questionnaire essentially asks you, in a nutshell, are you a US resident? If you're a US resident, you just press yes, but then you're going to be liable for taxes in the US. If you're not a US resident, which I think more than 90% of the people here should not be a US resident, then you're not liable for US taxes. You're still liable for like taxes in the Philippines, but we as Amazon, we don't enforce that. It's up to the person in the selling account to like take care of your taxes in your local country. Right, so that's the thing that you need to update, and then once you get into Amazon Seller Central and you're finished, then you can start listing, you can start your Amazon journey. If you get your Amazon seller account, and then for XYZ reasons, you don't, essentially you don't open it, or there's no activity for the first 3 months, well, your account might go into dormant mode. And dormant mode means you're going to be triggered for SPR, seller performance review. And that means you're going to have to submit some documents to prove that you're still like there, like utility bills, proving the address matches with the one in Seller Central, etc. Right? But that shouldn't be the case, right? Because I know all of you are going to register today and launch tomorrow, I hope. But that's the best case scenario. Okay? But hopefully you don't take more than 3 months. And if you do take more than 3 months, which is completely fine, what we suggest to do is log into the account, check out Product Opportunity Explorer. Don't forget about the account. We'll miss you if you forget about us, you know? So with that being said, this is the overview. I'm not going to go through the actual user interface, but the user interface is actually very simple. Essentially, we're going to ask questions like, are you a business, are you an individual? And then just ask you like the first name, middle name, and different passports or driver's license, and your number in order to receive PIN codes, etc. Right? So this guide is going to be shared with you, and you can also find it on the website. Then this is we also ask for credit card or debit card, right? But instead of this banner, the UI is updated now with the promotion. So even if you log in or register from home, you're going to see that there's the $1 promotion, right? With that being said, please register now. And then we just ask for a couple more questions. So please feel free to go on to sell.amazon.com and click on the registration guide to download this. Now, I'm going to try and wrap things up here because, as I said, I'm going to be there, and for everybody who wants to register, I'm going to go through this with you personally. But there is one thing that I want to wrap things up with. So every time I come here to the Philippines, and I meet a lot of like motivated sellers, before I leave, there's always 2 or 3 sellers who come to me and say, Ivan, you come here once a month, or you come here like every 2 months. We like that you come here, that you present things, that you teach us, but when you leave, we feel a bit alone. Like we're like found into like this new world of Amazon, and we don't know how to continue. So I'm going to give you 3 simple steps in order to address that. First of all, register an account. As soon as you pass verification, Sengway will send you an email. And that email, we're going to establish contact. You're going to have an email to contact us directly, establish one-on-one calls, video calls in case you have any questions, how to launch your product, how to list, your product got enforced, your account got enforced, I don't know how to launch brand registry, etc. So do use that account management. You're not alone. We as a team, even if we're not in the Philippines, we're still behind the screen trying to help you out, right? And that's the way you can communicate with us, right? So register an account, and then we establish that one-to-one communication with all of you, right? So with that being said, and I'm conscious of time, and I see many tired faces, so I'm gonna let all of you guys go, but before you go, register.